Monday again, 10 a.m. A bit later in the studio, but sometimes I believe that it's a bit more important to deal with the stuff you like best. First, I was out walking the puppy, dealing with his needs first, and I really enjoy doing that. So let's start the week in a proper way. One company that I really liked a couple of years ago was PSP Audioware. I stopped using their plugins not because they sound bad or anything like that, but because I had some technical issues with the plugins. I had some recall issues. Now I just saw that they have updated the plugins, and what I'm doing now is installing the plugins again. I love Vintage Warmer, Fat Presser, Old Timer, so they have a couple of great plugins. Now it's time that I install all of them and try them out and see how they work on my system. I'm trying to activate them via iLock. I think that allows me to move from system to system, because I'm not just using the main PC. Sometimes I like working on my laptop, and I like using the iLock. Just take it with me. Another really great plugin that I was sad that it wasn't working properly on my system was the what's the name? Yeah, the PSP E27. I think that's an emulation of hardware, and that was something that I really liked, and I'm stoked to start using that plugin again. Just a couple of more plugins to activate, and then it's time to test them out and see if they work properly. Waiting for Studio One to finish scanning, and then I will try out the PSP plugins. Couple of companies that helped me out in the beginning by sending out some licenses for me to try out to make videos with their plugins. So it was PSP Audioware, FabFilter is another one, UVI another one, Arturia I believe. There are a couple of other companies that I appreciate. I will probably have a separate video on the topic. Studio One is so slow when it comes to scanning the plugins. Okay, it's my fault too, because I have tons of plugins. The initial scanning is super slow. I believe it takes a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes. That actually sucks when you're trying to do some work in the morning. But for me, I like to disable the plugin scanner, and I enable it just when I added a new plugin that I want to use. So this one was one of my favorite EQs. The top end on this plugin is just amazing. Sidechain input, okay, that's great. You can, okay, you can blend it. External sidechain, okay. So I'm really stoked to start using PSP plugins again, because they sound great and I really love the company. Time for me to talk about a topic that I've been avoiding for some time. I want to talk to you about gear. I've postponed the studio tour because I'm in the middle of the process of changing a couple of essential pieces of gear. As you can see behind me right there, I have a rack full of goodies, and I want to talk to you about the reason behind me getting analog gear. Do I think it's worth it? Do I think it's something really special compared to plugins? Do I think it's essential to have analog gear? The answer for that is no, and no. Analog gear is incredible, but if you rely on it to deliver a great mix, then something is wrong. You should be able to have amazing mixes by just using plugins. The price of analog is just stupid at the moment. You only have one instance of the gear, you need to have great converters, so it's an entire process. A couple of years ago I've decided to get into analog gear, and my goal, my dream was to have some really nice pieces of hardware for vocals, drums, bass and music. I wanted to stem out from the DAW, process those stems in the analog realm. That dream was a bit flawed because I tried with the 500 series. I didn't like the workflow, even though analog had a couple of negative points or drawbacks. I decided to keep on pushing, to keep searching for what I like and what I need. In this couple of years, that's what I've been doing. Purchasing gear, trying it out and trying to decide if I like it or not. That's why I didn't make any videos on the gear that I have now in the rack. I will show that in just a minute. It sucks because I'm in Romania. I cannot demo units, the expensive stuff into the studio, try it out, send it back. It's just a hassle, it's not happening, so I had to purchase every single piece of gear that I have, try it out, and now I'm in the process of selling a couple and moving to the next step, other pieces of gear that I believe will fit the sound that I'm looking for and the workflow that I want a bit better. Let me show you what I have now in the rack. A big sad hole. That's where the Pultec was. I just sold it. The Pultec was amazing, but I wasn't using it that much. A star level from Retro Instruments. This I will probably sell. Better Maker Mastering EQ I will probably sell. Another retro compressor I will probably sell. A new addition is this Shelford channel strip. This is amazing. This is one of the reasons why a couple of the compressors will be out of the rack. The mastering limiter, sell. Master bus processor, keep. Manly massive passive, keep. I want to add another Shelford channel. This will be used to process stems. The Shelford channel is nice because you have a high pass filter, an EQ and a compressor, plus the saturation, the silk. By adding another Shelford, I will be able to link the two and process stems, use it for mastering, maybe using for the mix bus. A lot of avenues will open with another Shelford. Another piece of gear that I'm waiting to get is the Vertigo Sound VSM2, the mix satellite, the full version. I will have a separate video on that. Since I will not have the compressors, the mastering EQ and the master limiter, I want to add a compressor with a strong color, probably a very new stereo unit, dual mono, something like that. And I want to add another clean EQ. And that will be the end for the moment. With the VSM2, I will be able to do a lot of crazy things when it comes to shaping the sounds. I will be able to use the gear in mid-side in really unique way. Like I've said, my dream was to have units to process the stems. Now my dream is to have a single chain that can be really versatile, that I can use just a single converter. I have the B16 from Burl and the 80 Plus from Dangerous, and I want to pass stems through it. I'm sad that I will lose some money, but I'm happy because I will be able to test out gear until I will find my final analog chain. I will probably have a breakdown of the analog chain really soon after I receive my VSM2. That will be in 8 weeks. Around that. This is one of the reasons why I've been pushing the studio tour, because I really want to showcase the studio in its semi-final form when it comes to the gear that I have. I don't want to showcase gear that I want to sell. All the pieces that I have in the rack are top-notch, high-end, amazing gear, but it's just not for what I do. Yeah, so let me know if you have any question about the gear that I have now in the rack. Let me know in the comment section below. Thursday in the afternoon, the work for today is done. It's time for me to do some cleaning, some tidying up in the studio, get rid of all the dust, I've just ordered another shelf-board, so now I have a pair. The other one is on its way. I will probably have it next week. Now let's move on with the cleaning. Cleaning done. The air is fresher, carpet clean, a bit less dust in the entire studio. Time to rest, maybe? See you tomorrow, maybe?